It is Kamala Harris, the California senator, the former presidential candidate, who was right up there on the debate stage, getting in his face with Joe Lieberman, has been chosen as his pick to be his running mate. She will be fighting the battle with him in the presidential campaign. The list had been whittled down to two, we're told. Susan Rice, the former national security advisor. But ultimately, it was Kamala Harris who impressed the former vice president and will be his running mate. We expect a confirmation of that shortly. Was texted out just as Brett Baer said that it would be. I want to get the read on all of this from Lawrence Jones, Fox Nation's Keeping Up with the Joneses. So much more Fox News analysts on all of this. And Lawrence, you and I had talked about this and this whole pick procedure where there was heavy pressure on Joe Biden, not only to choose a woman, but an African-American woman. And then lo and behold, this letter from black business leaders and other types who have been saying, you don't pick an African-American, you're going to lose this thing. Do you think that weighed into it?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I've been talking about this for a while just from my reporting on the ground and talking with progressive activists that they wanted one of their guys in there, and they considered her as a progressive, as a change agent. And when it comes to those black men, that made it very clear that if they didn't get a black woman on the ticket, that they were going to sit out this election. And as you know, the Democratic Party needs black voters to show up. They could not afford the same thing to happen again, where there wasn't really that much, it wasn't that much of high turnout when it came to black voters in the last race. But to have them, the leaders like P. Diddy, Van Jones, and others to say that they weren't going to support the nominee if they didn't get a black female, I think that weighed on the vice president. Now, I'll say this. I think many of us called this months ago, even before the primary was even wrapped up, and it seemed to look like Joe Biden was going to be the nominee, that he was going to pick a Kamala Harris. And one of the reasons is she was the one that took it to him. She did a lot of the Oppo research herself, and then after that coalesced behind his candidacy. This is not unexpected here, but I know it was a tough decision just based on my sources within in the inner circle. He really liked Susan Rice. He had a personal relationship with her. But I think what it came down to is that she didn't really have any experience in elected office. And Kamala Harris has that name ID, have people that follow her. And she's one of those people that could actually debate.
Indeed. The former vice president, Lawrence, has weighed in on this, tweeting out just a few moments ago, I have the great honor to announce that I picked Kamala Harris, a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants, as my running mate. So for those of you who are watching this past weekend, when our own Peter Doocy caught up with a bicycling former vice president and hinted that the decision had already been made then and that it was Peter Doocy himself, I hate to break it to you, it is not Peter Doocy, but we are going to Peter Doocy right now to weigh on this. Well, maybe another time, Peter, but for now, much as you would surmise, the wagons had been circling around Kamala Harris, and that seems to be the pick. What are we learning?
Neil, if that was you coming to me, I'm sorry that I missed it there right off the top.
Go ahead.
So Kamala Harris, it says a lot about what the former vice president is looking for. Remember, a week or two ago, he was photographed with somebody took a picture of his notes, and right at the top it said, Kamala Harris, he does not hold grudges. And perhaps the premier moment of her primary campaign when she was still in the race was when she challenged Joe Biden on stage at the first debate about his record on busing. That was in June. By September, I remember asking her a question about something Biden related, and her response was, leave Joe Biden alone. And so from the beginning, after that thing that got her so much attention, she had a complete change over the course of a summer. She did not have great success in the primaries or the caucuses because she dropped out before they actually started. She went all in Iowa. I remember we were in her office right around Thanksgiving because she was going to spend Thanksgiving in Iowa with a family there. She was one of the only candidates who was doing that. She said she was going to keep pushing through, but by the first week of December, she decided to go out. When it comes to her positions, Kamala Harris is a supporter of Medicare for All. It's still on her campaign website, KamalaHarris.com, if you have questions about the new running mate for Joe Biden. And the other big issue of this time right now, in addition to COVID-19 for Democrats, is our civil rights issues. And Harris, when she would tell her personal story on the campaign trail, focused a lot on telling stories about how her parents were very active in the civil rights movement and her memories of that as a child. So a lot just changed in the 2020 race, and it is going to be Biden-Harris on the bumper sticker for the next couple months. Neil?
All right, thank you, my friend, very, very much.